What? The what?
The podcast.
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
0. Back to the hotel.
Yeah, hotel, yeah. I felt like he wanted me to do the 45-minute propaganda hour.
He was, every fucking response was like navigating back to...
Well, what did the Palestinians do?
So
right?
about all this disinformation on the Hamas side.
Yeah.
Oh god, I had so many thoughts throughout that whole thing. Fuck.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, obviously the Leahy thing.
Whatever. The spirit of the
British. Would you call it ally? I mean, they wanted to do a joint invasion of mandatory Palestine to get the British out, and they were like, "We've got a joint understanding here. Listen, not you want the Jews out of Europe. We want them out of Europe for different reasons." So yeah.
I mean, we can.
But,
I mean, you can call it. You could say in more words, like, well, it wasn't a formal alliance. They wanted to seek a joint partnership where they would have performed like military operations because they thought that Germany was going to. But like. I mean,
you know what fucks it? It's because if you're a spokesperson, I feel like the most convincing people that I've come across, especially when I was sort of moving a bit away from the more radical perspective, it was people who held their own side to account. I feel like if you're a spokesperson, you can just say, yeah, they were fucked, but there was 300 of them. That's it. Like there was 300 of them.
Well,
the rest of the issue fucking hated them. They hunted them down at some point.
The spokesperson is not going to be there to hold his side to account, though. That's really not even his job.
Yeah, but he's not the fucking spokesperson anymore. He's
well, no, but that's basically what he's gunning for. That's what he markets himself as, yeah. But I'm not, and I'm not there to help him do his job.
Yeah, bro. Well.
Not to be derisive or rude towards him. I mean,
It's weird with you both talking about this kind of disagreement about how Israel has gone from fighting with conventional armies to these kind of like non-state actors. But I feel like it's interesting because the more powerful Israel gets as opposed to its enemies, the harder things get. Because Six-Day War...
Yeah, that's why I told him, like, you're not going to solve Hamas with missiles.
Yeah, like Six-Day War, you've got 3 conventional armies, fucking Soviet-backed. You get them all in 6 days. But Hezbollah, they get the most impressive fucking kill ratio. They humiliate you on the world stage. And then Hamas, like, that's the first time Palestinian militants ever captured a piece of Israeli territory. They've never done that before. Like, fuck.
I mean, I tried to...
But you look worse when you fight against them because they're hiding behind civilians.
That's right. Like, it's a little bit goofy to say also that, like, these are the 7 front proxy wars as dangerous as it ever has been. Like, that's not really true, right? And even the Lebanese, like...
He said Syria, but I feel like the attacks in Syria generally come from Hezbollah,
probably,
right? Yeah. It's just adding on one for
or some other, fucking I don't think Assad is fucking coordinating military strikes in Israel with any seriousness from his fucking...
And the West Bank is, I mean, that's a testament to why negotiated settlements worked, because, or at least made it less bad, because, you know, West Bank, they wanted October 7th to carry on into there, and it didn't really, so...
Yeah.
Where do we go? They come. You know where it is, yeah? Because I'm in front, I was like, I don't have no idea where
We going over here?
Fuck, I want to debate that guy for like 10 hours. I just feel like he'd be such good content as well because he's so good at what he does. Like,
it would be good content, but he's clearly there to push like his side, which I'm sympathetic towards, but...
Yeah, but that's why I think he's like a good person to interact with as well, because I don't know, I think it's much more challenging than what I'm used to.
Yeah?
At least where I am, but yeah.
I want to watch him on Piers Morgan. I'm sure he's made appearances, right? Uh-oh. What? Why'd you laugh? Is there something you forgot to bring up in the past hour?
Something I forgot to bring up?
Your tattoos? I'm just gonna like subtweet you every 2 days until you figure it out. Yeah. What else? What other points?
Hang on. I can't multitask. I'm retarded, sorry.
You're good.
I think that because he seems to be genuinely like baffled at why Israel struggles on the world stage, but it's because it's
that's annoying.
It's you know, it's partially anti-Semitism, but obviously the problem is that I feel like someone like him would never understand that when you see left-wingers say things that are clearly
The exact same.
lead you to anti-Semitic conclusions, but they have not like a single anti-Semitic thought in their brain while they're doing it. But I don't think that would ever register with it.
It's probably also hard being surrounded by Arabs and then having somebody like me say, listen, bro, all this shit in the West has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. Like, wait, what? I can understand why this is mindfucky, but I mean, if you want to understand it, you have to,
The other thing as well, though, is like, these are situations that European powers have never really been in. I don't think Iraq and ISIS, I don't think that really compares because of the
they're not our
proximity.
neighbors. Yeah.
So we, like, obviously our leaders watch that through the lens of people who fought in World War II or know World War II and the Geneva Convention and all that, and they're just like, of course it's like, it's just a, I don't know, because like the war is harder to fight, it's harder to win, it takes longer, and you look a million times more dominant as you're doing it. You know, like in the 6 Day War, you look like the underdog, even though you're winning in 6 days, because you're against 3 conventional armies. But now you look like the fucking overlord oppressor against fucking like people in tunnels with little shitty rockets. And you've got all your like highest technology in the world and your planes and all that, but the war is actually like a million times harder. So
the optics are.
That's like a really, really difficult thing to sell.
Even if you can understand that the optics are, or even if you're complaining about it, you at least have to understand it, right? Like, it's okay to be like, this is bullshit, but you have to understand why. Like, how can you possibly look at a country that's fighting with fucking F-35s and wondering, why do we look bad killing the people that have to hide in tunnels? Like, what the fuck do you mean, why do you look bad? You're fighting with the most sophisticated aerial weapon systems ever developed in the history of all of mankind against people that are fighting like it's Dig Dug. Okay? Like, what do you mean? Why do you look bad? You should at least have to understand that, you know. Wait, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, don't go in there. Don't. What is that?
Some kind of military place?
Damn. Right next to all this civilian infrastructure, right?
Oh, shit. Somebody said that to me. Fuck.
Yeah, because people say that the HQ is next to a shopping center.
Not even here. They said it for the United States. They were like, what about the military, like Air Force bases in the U.S. that are next to civilian cities? Like, is that the same thing or whatever? It was like,
I mean, you can do it if you don't give anyone casus belli and go to a front line when you fight the war.
Sure.
Right.
But there's also, like, even this, there's a huge differentiation between this and operating at homes.
Yeah.
Like, even if they did this, it would be okay. But there is an interesting question to be asked about, careful, about how never mind. I was going to say, how should non-state actors fight? But I mean, they shouldn't, right? I guess is kind of the point.
Yeah.
What else? Any other points that you would have argued harder?
What else were you talking about? I don't know, because it feels like he is genuinely baffled at the idea that it's so difficult to advocate for Israel on the world stage. But as far as I can see it, like, I think for spokespersons, you can only go for people who are on the fence at best. But I think if it's anyone else, I know for people like me, what got me listening to the pro-Israel, like their perspective a bit more closely, was people like Benny Morris, or like people who held their own side accountable. Like, they were not willing to hold back on the atrocities that their own side commits, and that's an effective foot in the door, right? Yeah. That's why when you know that, like, Eylon Pape is citing this guy and Finkelstein is citing this guy, albeit dubiously, like there's clearly, like, that's a foot in the door that people like Levy are never going to get, you know?
Yeah.
Not least of all because he's got the most Oxbridge cunt energy in a good way, but like. What else did you guys talk about? You have a bullet point. I knew I was like every single section of that. I was like, my mind was going on fire. But
I mean, you wanted to go back to misinformation over and over again.
Yeah.
I super disagree. Israel needs to stop acting like they're fighting fucking a 7-front war. It's just as scary as in the past. It's dumb.
I think March of Return was. We spoke about that yesterday, though, with the fact that the IDF's like advocacy, Hasbro or whatever, on that event was pretty horrible. Like, they knew that there were about 40 or 50,000 people going to these marches, but in their fucking caption, they had to say 250,000. They knew that Hamas was disarming people before they moved them to the front and not wanting people to take guns and shit, but they said armed terrorists and soldiers and shit.
They should have been...
lied about one of the medics who died, the 20-year-old medic, because they clipped her out of context, like very deliberately. Because
that was dumb.
she was saying, I'm using myself as a human shield, even though she was talking about being a medic. Yeah.
They should have like video footage from the wall too of like what it looked like from the Israeli shooter position.
Yeah.
Because I think also the impression is that they're basically just snipers laying there with clean shots, like shooting to murder fucking kids in wheelchairs or whatever, instead of like showing what it looked like. Because I don't think there's been a single video released from that perspective.
Also, there's a second person who's never, who hasn't actually engaged with the longest sentence for murdering a Palestinian has been 3 years.
He kind of like left that.
I thought I thought Golan would say that because he's made statements similar to that in terms of accountability. But I asked if he thought there was a lack of accountability. He just said no. So I was like, okay,
Sure.
fuck.
It's probably scary. The challenging thing is that like, if you're recruiting for the military or the IDF, you don't want to feel like you're a soldier. When a soldier is making decisions, you don't want to have to sit there and think like, am I going to be like fucking prosecuted for, you know, shooting this guy in a battlefield? Or
Yeah, that's the reason you would say why
that-
it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's an element of truth to that, but obviously, like, there has to be a line, right? Like, you couldn't walk into a kindergarten and start shooting people and like, well, we don't want soldiers thinking that if they kill a child with a bomb strapped to their chest, they're gonna. It's like, okay, well, there's got to be a line somewhere.
Yeah, like there are examples where there's no way that guy can claim he was like
the
making
knife
a bad
attack with the
decision.
guy on the ground.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Like, come on. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh no, this could be me next. Like, oh, fuck it, yeah. But you know who's actually a really interesting example of that is King Hussein. You heard of the story about? Admittedly, it was British people that he killed, I think, but I think it was it Jewish people as well? It was. I was an ex-soldier. That was an ex-soldier who like murdered a bunch of fucking Israelis from Jordan, and King Hussein had him executed, but also like went to visit the families and like donated to like a fucking blood bank or whatever, like to their medical needs or to the victims' families and shit. So I feel like between that and what Israel does with the IDF, I feel like there's a middle ground somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Monarchy has a little bit more wiggle room though, because you're not trying to win an election, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I think Balin's my favorite so far, though. I think.
yeah, Eylon was really cool.
I'm gonna read everything he writes. Why not?
I think Golan could have been too. We just needed like 2x the time.
Yeah.
Oh God! When you brought up my Twitter, I was like, oh no.
I saw the guy sitting next to me had it on his agenda, and I was like, did they just check his Twitter today?
Perfect
Oh
photo.
God.
What?
Your facial expression when they brought up the Twitter.
Oh Jesus.
You've got the perfect out though. Why aren't you holding me up when I do similar shit about Palestinians?
Why aren't you holding me up when I do similar shit about Palestinians?
Yeah, if he brought you up for the fucking hostage
he would
joke,
have no
right?
fucking idea, right? I doubt this guy
Yeah.
knows any of my history or anything at all.